Jeff Corcoran joins us. Nice to meet you, sir.
Very good. Thanks for having me, John.
So as it's known officially, it sounds awful, but the death industry is known for being incredibly creative, and I guess this is just the latest step.
So I think what's going on in the funeral industry overall is the environment. There's a lot of changing values and attitudes as it relates to a whole bunch of societal issues around end of life. Religious participation has declined, faith and institutions are in decline. And, the traditional funeral industry hasn't really caught up. The typical case these days is that when somebody passes away, they get a cremation, the family buys an urn, and then instead of staying at the funeral home, they go to a park or a golf course and have their own private ceremony.
And also, it's not just because of COVID. Increasingly, people aren't even having a funeral.
Exactly. And so I think a lot of people don't necessarily see the value in that. I mean, I think especially with people who don't have a close relationship with their church, doing an elaborate funeral, either it's faith-based or not, that doesn't seem genuine to them. So I think this sort of personalization and do-it-yourself trend has really taken hold.
Okay, so tell me what this new service that you're offering, what form it takes. I mean, I watched one of the videos, and all of a sudden I fell in love with somebody I've never met, and they're dead.
Well, yeah. So Kinwood's the celebration of life company. So essentially, we have several different products. Our products are based in the authenticity of real people telling real stories about an individual, and we capture those things. We take things like family photography, cell phone video, home movies, and then we do 4 to 8 interviews in a place like the Kinwood studio. We take editors and we roll it up together to make a 15 to 30 minute commemorative film that almost all the time becomes a family heirloom.
In watching the one that I'm referring to, I was thinking, okay, I don't know who this guy is, and I don't know how extraordinary his life was, but I feel like I'm watching a tribute on NBC.
So one of my partners and a lot of our employees are actually, are professional filmmakers. Most of them work in the commercial world where, they're dealing with 30 seconds, and the chance for them to get working for more long-form projects is very valuable to them. We've got lots of directors who are knocking at our door who want to contribute to these things, and it's very valuable. So there's a lot of creative talent. I mean, think about the funeral industry overall, and I know a lot of great funeral directors, and they're terrific people. But one of the genesis of Kinwood was taking a lot of those creative people who work in the creative industries and apply it to the funeral and bereavement industry.
What sort of format does it take in order to capture this stuff? I mean, I realize people are going to turn over video to you, and increasingly they call, what do we call it? This full coverage generation. We have people for whom there is video of them being born, and there's video of them learning to walk. But you also do interviews, and I wonder how that works.
Our tagline is leave memories, not condolences. And I think in general, when you're encountering somebody who has passed away, the default thing to do is to say, sorry for your loss. The person meant a lot to me. And the philosophy of Kinwood is really getting into the specifics of that life. And, for people who want to appear, who want to appear on camera, there's no preparation involved. We understand the biography of the person prior to this, and we ask very specific questions about the most important parts of their life and getting into all the quirks and the idiosyncrasies, as well as, as the love and the loss and all, and, the career achievements, all of those things that, again, become not just for right at the end of the day, but they live on forever now.
Does it ever make your staff sad that they're dealing entirely with people who are gone?
Yeah. I do tend to check in with my directors often just to make sure everybody's doing okay, because we have, in the past 3 months, we've actually located into a funeral home. And so the people here, my staff aren't funeral professionals, so I'm making sure everybody's good. But I will say this: the work is tremendously rewarding, genuinely. I mean, you feel like you're really making a difference in people's lives because there's no other choices out there. And if you're not, buying a big headstone or buying a large casket, there's only so many ways you can really commemorate a life. And this is we think it's a new way, and the funeral industry sees it that way, and that's why we have a couple partnerships going. So,
I find myself these days wondering how people are going to look at our Facebook pages 450 years from now. I have to wonder, are they going to look at a video like this and say, okay, there's a guy who passed away in 2023, and that looks like an interesting life?
The analogy that I often talk about is, I don't know my great-grandfather, who he was. I know he came over from Ireland, and to be able to have some way of knowing, did he have a sense of humor? What kind of a person was he? What was his integrity like? What were his likes? And now I think what the service that Kinwood offers is the ability to, enshrine that life for great grandchildren and generations beyond them. And that really hasn't been possible before. And quite frankly, I don't think you can get that from Facebook.
It's got some fairly lush production values, so I do have to ask, what kind of price pocket are we looking at?
Absolutely. So it's not as expensive as people would think. So typical, if we're shooting films in the studio, you're looking between $2,000 and $6,000. Once we travel or go into people's homes, which we often do, typically the jobs come between $5,000 and $8,000. We've done jobs that include up to $25,000. There's a travel involved and multiple day shoots and those types of things. But we have solutions that can be flexible for almost any budget. So and these things last forever. It's just not a one-time thing. It's really an heirloom.
Thanks a lot for this.
Thank you, John. Thanks.